Hi everybody, this is Dr. Annette Cargioli, and I'm really excited today to put this on video and consequently onto YouTube so that more and more people can learn about it. Today I'm talking with my sister, Linda Collier, who has overcome symptoms of Parkinson's with an amino acid protocol. So we're going to start this interview with Linda's experience. So tell us about when you were diagnosed, Linda.
I was diagnosed about 5 years ago, actually 5 years ago in July.
And what were the symptoms that you were going through that made you decide to go see a neurologist?
Well, earlier in the year, I had been experiencing tremor in my arm and in my right arm and my right leg. And it was becoming increasingly aggressive.
So when you went to the neurologist, was he pretty certain? Like, how certain was he that you had Parkinson's?
He actually gave me the Parkinson's diagnosis within probably 3 minutes.
I remember how emotionally distressed it was for you, and because you're my sister and we're really close, I was also very emotionally distressed over this. And I mean, I'm going to say it totally scared me too, because up until this point, even though in our holistic clinic of over 25 years, nearly 30 years, we have seen a lot of diseases that people don't think can get better, but we have never at this point had any experience with Parkinson's. There was one doctor that we all were familiar with. His name is Dr. Marty Hins, and he's a medical doctor, and we had taken a class from him over 10 years before, and he was teaching a class about how to use amino acid therapy to help people with who had chronic obesity, who needed weight loss, and also he was teaching how to use amino acid therapy for people with chronic depression and anxiety. And we took that class, and we were actually using amino acid therapy and really successfully with people with depression, and we learned after that class how to effectively use these supplements in this way. We really only found out, I mean, the only reason we knew that Marty was using it for Parkinson's is because we were on his email thread, and he was sending emails out regularly talking about how now he was helping people with Parkinson's. So later, even though we knew about his claims, because he was claiming some big stuff. He was claiming that he was eliminating Parkinson's symptoms, and he was claiming that in some cases he could halt the progression of the disease altogether. This was mind-boggling to me. And here I am with you with this problem, and so that was all we had to go on, and we were very, very skeptical. So how long was it? I mean, I know that there was a space and time between the first attempt to do this protocol and the second attempt to do the protocol. So how much time happened in there, and was the reason that you went ahead and did it again because were you getting worse?
Yes, I was getting worse, but the reason I attempted to go ahead and do it again is because we had more information from Dr. Marty. He was refining his protocols, finding out what the reason was behind the nausea, adjusting it so that that would be reduced. About 2 years ago, I went back on the protocols, and that was in April, and by June and July, my symptoms were almost non-existent, and the nausea was not an issue any longer.
I remember the week before, all of Linda's symptoms basically just vanished. I mean, it was so miraculous. I remember the conference call was going on, and Linda's symptoms had gotten far worse. She was emotionally and mentally feeling unstable. Her tremor was worse than ever. I can say I was pretty terrified and not impressed with the protocol, and wondering if Marty was actually making her worse with his protocols. And we all stood around the speakerphone, and listen to Marty consult with Linda. And I remember Dr. Hinz said, you know, after he heard her describe, this is the worst week I have ever had with Parkinson's. And he didn't even skip a beat. He just said, this is great. You're almost there. I'm going to have you up the dose of dopamine, and then you call me next week. And that was the end of the call. And we all just looked at each other like we were just, I just remember that moment. It was such a defining moment. Inside of the week, all of Linda's symptoms were gone. It went from the worst she'd experienced to the best. It was the first time she was walking down the hall without the imbalance. She was writing her name. The tremor was just gone. It was so amazing. And that was the point where all of us said, we have got to learn more about this protocol, because clearly Dr. Hinz knows what he's doing, and we didn't. We couldn't even understand how that worked. So that was the defining moment where we all decided to commit to more training. Dr. Ron, can you tell us about your first year?
Well, the first year was a real learning experience, just learning how to manage people and, you know, trusting in the protocol and getting people to trust in the protocol, keeping all their amino acids in balance, because anybody who does amino acid knows if you give too much of one amino acid, you're going to deplete another one. And so that's the beauty of the protocol, is that it balances. There's more to it than just the L-DOPA. It balances your other amino acid systems, and that's what keeps your symptoms in control and actually helps stop the progression of the disease.
Perfect. What is the most important message that you could give to someone with Parkinson's right now?
It's a degenerative disease, but there is help and there's hope.
So what is the most important message, Linda, that you would give to someone with Parkinson's right now?
I would echo what Dr. Ron said. Trust the protocol. Trust the process. Know that it's going to take time and patience to get to where you need to be.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Dr. Ron. Thank you for sharing this message and having an opportunity for people with Parkinson's to have an alternative that could bring them greater hope in their future.